That was a pretty interesting ride out of Fort Nelson. Um, there wasn't very many vehicles. In fact, I think I counted about four on the entire trip through there, but for good reason because, well, when I took me about an hour to get to where the fire actually was, and by then they had closed the highway again, basically behind me. I didn't. I saw one pilot truck that I thought he was going to guide me through, but he didn't. He did stop though and tell me not to stop and to keep on going to the other end because the highway was now closed. So that was quite interesting. And it was quite the fire. The fire was right down to the highway, and you could see where it burnt right across the highway. I would have liked to have stopped and taken a picture, but probably not a good idea. Because the whole highway was like blackened right across, and I could see the flames on the one side. The fire had jumped the highway sometime in the last 36 hours or so, and obviously that's why it's been closed. So I made it to the other end and to a place called Toad River. You might be able to hear that. That's what's behind me right now. Here, I'll just swing around and see it. I thought I might have been getting into some rain, but it's cleared up a bit, so it's not so bad. I did cut it pretty close with the fuel because I don't know what I was thinking, but I never filled up last night, which I should have, because it was almost 200 kilometers with no fuel from Fort Nelson. So when I left this morning, that video that you've seen before this, I had turned around and went back to try to fill up, and without really realizing it, at 4:30 in the morning, amazingly, all the gas stations were closed. But I am carrying an extra 10 liters of fuel with me, and so I was able to use it. And I will admit I was getting a bit concerned because the the gas stations along the way, which they showed on the signs, of course, had all been evacuated, and I didn't really think about that because when I got into the route that had been closed, the sign said no fuel for 150 kilometers or something. I figured, well, that won't be a problem because I have enough with me. But those stations were closed. So I did put in my extra, and by the time I got to the other end, where they were closing the highway at the other end, which was at Toad River, it had gas, but I was down to not much. I'd say probably about an eighth of a tank or something. So that wasn't a very smart thing to do. Anyways, I'm on the other side now. I've filled up. I've refilled my jerry can. I got a fresh coffee. It's 8:30. I feel like I got a hell of a start today. And Liard River Hot Springs is about an hour and a half or 2 hours away from where I am. So that's where I'm heading now, going through the mountains proper. Obviously, these are the Rockies, and you see the waterfalls behind me, and it's nice to actually see water in the rivers now. But yeah, the road, not much of a road, to admit. Most of it has no line on it anymore, and it's pretty narrow and windy, but pretty nice riding. So we'll just carry on. All right.